Kadarius Toney will be an interesting player to watch in the 2021 NFL Draft. He is viewed by some scouts as a boomer bust player after dealing with injuries throughout his college career and only starting one full season. At the same time, he exploded towards the end of the season and played well at the Senior Bowl. The former Gator is projected to go at the tail end of the first round and is viewed as one of the top wide receivers in this year's draft class. But who is Kadarius Toney? In the Who Is series, we go through the backstories of up-and-coming collegiate and pro athletes. If you enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps it do better in the YouTube algorithm. If there's a player you want to see in future episodes, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. Kadarius Toney was born on January 27th, 1999, and grew up in 8 Mile, Alabama. 8 Mile is called 8 Mile because it is located 8 miles away from Mobile, Alabama. Toney started playing football when he was a 6-year-old, playing quarterback for Trinity Garden Park. Toney would attend Matee T. Blunt High School, where he would go on to be a multi-sport athlete. Aside from football, Toney competed in track, where he ran an 11.5-second 100-yard dash, threw javelin 148 feet, and had a long jump of 21 feet 5 inches. On the gridiron, Toney would play quarterback, becoming a starter his junior year. As a junior, Toney would throw for 3,604 yards and 37 touchdowns, while also rushing for 896 yards and 16 touchdowns. Toney's junior performance led him to be named second team Class 6A All-State. As a senior, Toney would throw for 2,894 yards and 32 touchdowns, while also rushing for 894 yards and 15 touchdowns on the ground. Toney finished his high school career amassing over 8,200 passing yards, 2,400 rushing yards, and had over 120 total touchdowns, and showed that he was a dangerous weapon. Toney was such a playmaker in high school that back in January, his number 4 jersey was retired, with his former head coach saying, "It's on the wall. Done deal. He was my first quarterback. I think he's done enough around here to solidify himself as one of the best to ever play at Blunt High School. I know it was an honor to coach him." Coming out of high school, according to 24/7 Sports Composite, Kadarius Toney was the 3-star recruit who was the 20th best player in Alabama, 25th ranked athlete, and 421st best player in the 2017 class. Toney's first Division I offer came after his junior season from South Alabama. After the offer from South Alabama, Toney would receive offers from a slew of SEC schools, including Florida, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. With the opportunity to play quarterback, Toney committed to Florida before his senior year. Then Alabama would make a late push for Toney's talent, but he ultimately stayed committed to Jim McElwain and the Gators. He liked the family-like environment, and he wanted to play somewhere where he felt like it was home. He also liked the possibility of being able to play right away. When Toney first got to Florida, he quickly became a name Gator fans were following. One article even wrote, "Take a moment and write down the name Kadarius Toney, who on Friday night provided the most fun and excitement we've seen out of a quarterback in the swamp since the Tim Tebow era." During the spring game, he impressed fans with his ability to turn negative plays into positive ones. With the 14 practices Toney participated in before the spring game, he impressed his teammates and showed he was a special player. Although he only completed 3 passes, he did rush for 74 yards on the ground. As a true freshman, Toney would play in 8 games, making 2 starts. One start was at running back, while the other start was at wide receiver. His best game of the season came against Tennessee, where he caught 4 passes for 40 yards. He scored his first career touchdown on the ground against Vanderbilt. He finished the season with 15 receptions for 152 yards, averaging 10.1 yards per catch, while also rushing for 120 yards and a touchdown on 14 carries, averaging 8.6 yards per carry. Going into the 2018 season, Toney would be suspended for the opener due to not living up to Gator standards. Toney played in 12 games as a sophomore, but did not record any starts. He lined up at the Wildcat quarterback position and as wide receiver. He completed his only pass attempt of the season against Mississippi State, throwing for his first career passing touchdown. His best game at wide receiver came in a loss against Missouri when he had 2 receptions for 72 yards. The following game, he recorded his first career receiving touchdown against South Carolina. Toney finished the season with 25 receptions for 260 yards and 1 touchdown, averaging 10.4 yards per reception. On the ground, he rushed for 240 yards on 21 carries, averaging 11.4 yards per carry. As a junior, Toney would take on the honor of wearing the number 1 jersey for Florida. Before Toney adopted the number, no wide receiver had worn the number 1 jersey since Percy Harvin. Toney opened up the season with 1 reception for 66 yards and a touchdown against Miami. Then, Toney would hurt his shoulder and miss 6 games before returning in a loss against Georgia, where he would have 1 carry. The following week against Vanderbilt, Toney had 2 rush attempts for 39 yards and 1 reception for 10 yards. Against Florida State in the regular season finale, Toney had 4 receptions for 65 yards. Toney, who played in 7 games and recorded 0 starts, finished the season rushing for 59 yards on 12 carries, averaging 4.9 yards per carry, while also having 10 receptions for 194 yards and a touchdown, averaging 19.4 yards per reception. Going into Toney's senior year, 2020 was going to be a make-or-break year, and Toney made the best of it. In the season opener against Ole Miss, Toney had 59 receiving yards and a touchdown on 5 receptions, while also rushing for 55 yards on 2 carries. He recorded 2 touchdowns in back-to-back weeks against Texas A&M and Missouri. Against Vanderbilt, he recorded his first 100-yard game, having 107 yards and a touchdown on 6 receptions. In his last 3 games of the season, Toney recorded 108 receiving yards and a touchdown on 8 receptions against Tennessee, 182 yards and a touchdown on 9 receptions against LSU, and 153 receiving yards and a touchdown on 9 receptions against Alabama. Toney decided to opt out of Florida's bowl game and finished the season with a team-high 940 yards and 70 receptions, while finishing second on the team in touchdowns with 10. He also recorded 161 rushing yards and a touchdown on 19 carries on the ground. Kadarius Toney finished his Florida Gator career amassing over 1,590 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns on 120 receptions. Going into Thursday's NFL draft, Toney is projected to be a late first-round pick. According to NFL.com, Toney is a boomer-bust prospect who will be a starter within his first 2 years in the NFL. At his pro day, he ran a 4.37 40-yard dash and measured to be 5'11 and a half inches. He runs tougher than expected and has great start-stop athleticism. According to The Athletic, teams are concerned with Toney's injury history and his off-the-field issues. Some teams also worry that he cares more about rapping, known as Young Joker, than football, which Toney denies. The Athletic's Dane Brugler scouting report states, a loose, elastic athlete, Toney routinely makes the first man miss with special start-stop twitch, frustrating would-be tacklers and creating explosive plays. Though he is an improved route runner, he remains a work in progress with his steps and tempo, and his freelancing will backfire at times. Overall, Toney is still more of a gadget player than polished receiver, and his off-the-field and durability will be a debate in war rooms. But he boasts a one-step burst, body balance, and underrated toughness to be a big play igniter. He projects as a versatile NFL weapon on offense and special teams. Mel Kiper projects that the Jacksonville Jaguars will draft Toney at the 25th overall pick, which would make him the 5th wide receiver taken. Toney is Brugler's 4th rated wide receiver in his scouting report. Whichever team takes Kadarius Toney in this year's draft, if used right, could have a future star on their hands. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other videos in the Who Is series. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, remember to embrace the grind.